It is the Thursday edition of Litter Media Live. I'm Dan Ramey, and in for Mike Smith once again on camera is our producer, Aaron Glandon.
I'm here.
Yes, he is, live and in person.
I want to let it be known that I've been sitting in this chair since 10:57.
He has been.
And you were over there.
I was over there preparing some final moments, and we had a guest scheduled earlier for this morning, but our wires got crossed, and they thought they were here later in the day, but we'll get them rescheduled.
We'll blame that on Mike.
So, just because he's not here, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay, so, wait a second. You're Mike today, so it's all your fault.
No. If you wait a minute, the scroller at the bottom will say my name.
Is that right? Okay.
Here.
Okay, so keep watching. He's performing Mike's duties.
Right there.
For the show today. There he is. Yes. Let's take a look at what's happening with our weather forecast for you today. We see sunny conditions, 83 degrees, which will be pretty good for the National Day of Prayer events that are going on today. Cloudy skies and 81 for your Friday. There is a chance of showers through the weekend with temperatures in the 70s. So not too bad weather-wise for us.
Terrible.
Coming up shortly, we'll get you caught up to date with news. We'll take a look at this date in history and also sports, all coming up. And today, being Thursday, we will announce our Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. That's just ahead as well. But first, let me tell you about Scioto Valley Dumpsters. They can handle any of your dumpster needs. If you are doing something at home in your residential capacity or in your commercial business, you need a dumpster? 740-253-8389 is the number to call for Scioto Valley Dumpsters. News is next.
I'm a busy woman, and I'm not ready to slow down.
Tiffany's hip pain was interfering with her career and active lifestyle until she came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
Dr. Meshbach told me about same-day surgery. I said, I want it now, and I wanted it yesterday.
After a successful procedure, Tiffany was home the very same day and on her way back to enjoying the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week. The Bean Foundation wants to raise awareness about suicide prevention by sharing the numbers 988. Trained crisis counselors are available to talk 24/7, 365. 988. Save the number. Save a life. To learn more about the Bean Foundation, created in the memory of Bryant Beans Butt, call 740-703-0611 or email Jim Butt at jbutt6355@gmail.com. All right, as we get ready to take a look at the news, of course, you can follow along on our website, littermedia.com. You see the governor there. We'll touch on that in just a moment. Also, you can follow here on Facebook and some of the things we share on Litter Media X, which is where you'll find a lot of our live score updates and everything during the afternoon. Let's follow up from yesterday's visit with Governor Mike DeWine. The big news to hit Southern Ohio as DeWine announced 30 major economic development projects in Ohio's Appalachian region that raises the area's profile as a travel destination to improve the quality of life for local residents. $154 million will be infused into communities across 12 counties to revitalize historic downtown districts, create new opportunities, and more. Here is a collection of people we talked to yesterday about all that you're seeing here that's going to be developed here in Chillicothe.
It's great to have the governor and lieutenant governor, the legislature, to have such great support for our region and recognizing the opportunities that we have in the region. And it's not that it's poor Appalachia. Now it's Appalachia on offense, moving things forward, respecting the past. We're looking forward to the future.
Southern Ohio is on the rise. This was a big day for us. I think the whole ask was $52 million, and we learned today that we're going to get $45 million of that to make some of our dreams come true. This was a different type of grant. This was the Appalachian Community grant that was focused on things that we don't normally find money for. So they went to the communities and said, give us your wish list, and these are those projects that came out of the people, the boots on the ground. So it's a great day for us.
As director, Carrie and I were going through these projects and evaluating them, and we knew that we were going to be awarding these. The two of us were like, this is unbelievable. And so I can only imagine how the local people feel on a day like today. A lot of hard work, a lot of thought that has gone into this particular plan, this vision. And without our locals, Ohio would not be as great as it is today. And so as a former mayor, I'm just really proud of all the work that's going on in and across the region.
Kevin, I don't think this part of the state's had this kind of attention since the Rhodes administration.
Well, Jim Rhodes, of course, grew up in Appalachia. I didn't grow up here, but I grew up in a small community, and I think I understand local communities. But look, Jim Rhodes was a great advocate for Appalachia. He was also a great advocate. Jim Rhodes was really an advocate, if you think about it, for Appalachia, for education. Those were kind of the two big things that he did. And if you look at the announcement we made today, we just came from Rio Grande, for example, a facility that's going to be a new place that's going to be built right in MacArthur. And you're going to see that education component really expand as well.
It's hard to even put words onto how big that will be for the community. Transformational, game changer, all of those combined, and then some. So I think, we've been daydreaming for a couple years, really. So now we get today to celebrate, and then tomorrow the hard work begins of the design and the community input, and really making sure that what we end up with is something that will just really change the community for years to come.
Almost $45 million awarded to Ross County, with just over $35 million here to Ohio's first capital. You can read more about it. You can see that package that we put together for you there as well on our website, littermedia.com. And a little bit later on today, we'll have a complete package for you that you're just finishing up.
You can see Mike DeWine's full address.
Okay, all that.
Not his home address. His address to us.
So would his home address be over in Yellow Springs or at the governor's mansion?
The governor's mansion.
Governor's mansion. Okay, but this is the Chillicothe address that he delivered yesterday. Events in downtown Chillicothe the next couple of days, beginning with the National Day of Prayer. That's at noon today. Down in Pike County, I believe it's an afternoon event, about 5 o'clock this afternoon. But tomorrow here in Chillicothe is Chillicothe Yellow Day. One of the several similar events that will be taking place across not just America, but also across the world. Ben Trotter yesterday in a special edition of Litter Media Live spoke about the reason for the day on a special edition.
My mom taught with Adam Peterson in our hometown in Illinois. Adam and her were co-teachers in kindergarten. My mom was kind of his mentor. And then my mom came down with cancer and ended up passing away in 2013. And Adam came up with this idea to celebrate the idea of kindness and looking out for other people, which my mom always taught her children while they were in class. And it revolved around the word yellow, which was my mom's favorite color. And then here we are today.
Everything begins at 9:30 tomorrow morning. You'll see more than 600 students getting off of buses downtown, and they will be making their way to the downtown area. celebrating. In fact, where you see right over my shoulder there, that's where they would be congregating in front of the courthouse. But stretching all the way up through to 2nd Street, they have all kinds of activities. And as you've seen, no doubt, the yellow paintings and decorations in front of people's businesses and their storefronts. It's all random acts of kindness. And the Sheriff's Department is going to be involved. The Ross County Commissioners are going to be cooking up hot dogs and stuff for the kids. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you see folks out and about, make sure you stop down and wear your yellow as well. I will not be on the show tomorrow because I'll be busy emceeing the event in front of the courthouse. And that program actually begins close to 11:30. And they hope to have everything wrapped up by 1 o'clock or 1:30 tomorrow. Then there's a special parade they'll be going through. It's the William Gozzi Parade, the 3rd annual with the National Honor Society from Chillicothe High School, as they will also be parading around and making this a special, special day.
But you don't want me and Mike wearing yellow tomorrow, right?
Correct, yes.
Because then you would see right through us.
Well, when you show up downtown, make sure you're wearing yellow.
Okay. I don't know if I own anything yellow.
Is that right?
I don't know.
I think I had one shirt that was yellow. This was gifted to me when I was working in Columbus. And the fellow this was when I had the air name Dan Mitchell. The fellow who visited the radio station was from Mitchell, South Dakota. So he thought that was kind of cool. But what I thought was cool was the call letters were KORN, just like what you would see on Hee Haw back in the day.
Or the band. You
probably don't remember Hee Haw.
I've seen a couple of seconds of Hee Haw.
Okay. And I want to say it was on 1490 AM, which is the frequency of WBEX here in town, which I also worked at. So it was a simple tie. The frequency, the color was yellow and had Mitchell, South Dakota on it for Dan Mitchell.
There we go.
Yeah, it was a perfect situation. A lot of tie-ins there.
Yeah. In other news, the Chillicothe City Utilities Department announces upcoming sanitary sewer lining work affecting Marietta Road. Crews will start work on Monday, May 6th at 6:30 a.m. and continue until completed on Friday, May 17th and at 6 p.m. Once work begins, additional closures may be necessary and will be announced as they occur. Though traffic will be maintained, expect lane closures and traffic disruptions in the following areas: Marietta Road from Bridge Street eastbound to Tharp Animal Clinic. Entrances to all businesses will remain open and traffic will be maintained in both east and westbound lanes.
Some of the things we saw on Facebook yesterday included crews from the VA Fire Department. They took advantage of the lovely weather and practiced some high-angle rescue work. The VA Fire Department conducts many mutual aid coverage with neighboring fire departments, and we're grateful for their service.
Ross County Sheriff George Lavender has announced the addition of Pastor Troy Gray as department chaplain. The sheriff's chaplain is an area pastor appointed to serve the office. The chaplain provides counseling and support to many offices and citizens of Ross County, both in normal circumstances and in times of crisis.
When I saw this yesterday, I thought to myself, wait, Troy has already done this before, hasn't he? And he and I were exchanging messages earlier today, and no, he was actually a chaplain for the Chillicothe Police Department. But now he is taking over that position for the Ross County Sheriff's Department. Also, Chloe Stevens, she is a Ross County Health District community health worker. She's a recipient of the Ross County Post-Overdose Response Team, that's PORT's Lifesaver Award. Chloe was part of an outreach team last week. She was the closest to an overdose call. So she responded, Chloe's team able to make sure they administered naloxone to get that taken care of. And here you see Chloe along with Chillicothe Police Captain Michael Short and Ross County Sheriff's Office Deputy Dave Weber. The only person that's ever had me in the back seat of a cruiser was Dave Weber.
Because you got arrested.
I did not get arrested. We were doing I was the MC for a mock crash for Prom Promise. And instead of walking from the Yaktangi Park Annex back up to the Chillicothe High School parking lot, he says, "You want to ride?" I said, "Sure." But I couldn't hop in the passenger seat because there was all the equipment they had in the cruiser there, so I had to get in the back. And the downside is you got to wait for them to come open the door for you.
Right.
Because you can't open that door yourself.
Of course. The Lancaster Festival recently announced their headline entertainment for this July's schedule. Tickets are on sale now for Wilson Phillips on July 20th, Lee Brice on the 27th, the Columbus Jazz Orchestra on the 22nd, and the Ultimate Michael Jackson Experience on the 24th. Visit lancasterfestival.org for the tickets.
Lee Brice, wasn't he like an American Idol?
The name sounds familiar.
I want to say,
yeah.
But a big country guy now. And, of course, Wilson Phillips, they were hot when I was working in Columbus Radio back 30 years ago. So good to see those gals still out and about. Dogwood Pass, one of our friends down there for a long time. If you've never been to Dogwood Pass, you have to make the trip. It's not too far. It opens next weekend for Mother's Day weekend. Dogwood Pass is just west of Beaver in eastern Pike County off of Route 32. They'll perform Wild West shows at 11 o'clock in the morning and 4 p.m. And on their schedule for 2024, the PB&J Old West Circus. That should be a lot of fun. And they also do a lot of reenactment, and part of that will be Morgan's Raid, which Morgan's Raiders, if you remember from the Civil War era, making their way up through Pike County. They will reenact some of that for you as well. It's an absolute blast, full of family fun. And if you've never seen anything about Dogwood Pass, it is still one of our most viewed videos on Litter Media's YouTube channel. Yeah. So check that out and learn more about Dogwood Pass. Pickaway County on our road report for you today. State Route 361 between Wolf Road and Campbell Road will remain closed for bridge repair with detour on US 23 to US 22 and back to State Route 56 and State Route 159. Coming up, a look at sports for you just a few moments away. Mike was out and about with softball and baseball yesterday, so we'll have a report on that. And he was also busy going up to Columbus to visit with Doug Ute, the commissioner of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Details are just ahead. But first, Haynes Chiropractic, physical therapy, nutrition, they do all that stuff. And that's why they call themselves Haynes Total Health Care. They've been serving this community for 50 years, celebrating the big 5-0 since they were established in 1974. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it takes you right to HaynesHealth.com. Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
At Rathkamp Financial, we believe in building client relationships for the long term, guiding you through the stages of wealth with a plan and bringing you closer to reaching your financial dreams. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Time now for sports, and Litter Media's Mike Smith, as we mentioned yesterday, was on assignment up in Columbus to catch up with OHSAA head commissioner Doug Ute. He discussed how the tournaments that we shared with you the other day, the expansion and everything going on. We talked about how the tournaments we conducted for the additional divisions in non-football sports.
Well, the big challenge for us with the venue with 7 divisions is, especially the further you get along in the tournament, we want our kids to experience venues that have the wow factor in them. And not that high schools don't. A lot of high schools are wonderful gyms and those things, but it depends on what sport, at what level you're at. So, you can't take boys basketball as an example and put them in a regional at OU and turn around and put them in a high school from there. And so, that's what's, on our plate right now is to say, hey, what's the availability of venues? How can we get our student athletes in the best venue possible, particularly once you hit that regional and state level? And it's like as you move the way you're doing your state finals now, different from the past, you still want them to have a state experience. And so in a venue that way, so in volleyball, we're looking at a 2-day experience for them in Dayton, where they would still get a chance to go stay in a hotel, bond together, because that's what's neat sometimes when you see. I remember I'll use South Webster as an example of volleyball. They lost on a Thursday down there, and those young ladies had a ball Friday and Saturday, and that's part of that experience. That's what they'll remember their whole life, and so that's part of that venue experience we want, not just the arena or the gym, but the area.
You can see more and hear more, of course, on our website, littermedia.com, as well as on our Litter Media X is where you'll find that as well. Changes in the format will do away with sectional rounds of the tournaments, and most sports will play state semifinals at smaller arenas with the finals at the bigger showcase arena. We'll have more details again on our website. It's odd to get rid of the sectionals. That's something we've always been used to and hearing about and participating in. So it'll be a big change for postseason sports coming this fall. The Westfall Mustangs scored 8 unanswered runs after trailing 3-0 to upset Ron Allen's SVC champion baseball team at Zane Trace. Westfall finishes their SVC season at 4-10, while the Pioneers conclude theirs at 12-2, with no worse than a share of the SVC title, with Unioto still needing to complete a rain suspended game against Huntington. The Shermans are 11-2. They pulled even with Zane Trace in the loss column with a 4-0 win over Adena. You can read more on our website, littermedia.com. Tays Valley softball clinched at least a share of the Mid-State League Buckeye with a 6-1 win over Hamilton Township yesterday. Ross County track and field meet held at Frankfort last night. Zane Trace boys and Adena girls won the team titles. Unioto takes runner-up in both. Full details on our Litter Media Facebook page. A 4-run seventh by the Padres spelled defeat for the Reds, falling 6-2. Cincinnati went 2-4 on the road trip, and they returned to Great American Ballpark with the Baltimore Orioles starting tomorrow night. The Cleveland Guardians defeated the Astros 3-2 in 10 innings for their 20th win on the season. In fact, I think they've got the best record in baseball right now. They'll wrap up the series tonight in Houston. And time to announce our Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. She is Cameron Spruill. She's a junior pitcher from Hillsboro. She and the Indians had a great game against McLean earlier this week. She struck out 22 McLean batters in a no-hit performance, her 7th consecutive win on the season, and she's closing in on 300 strikeouts as a pitcher. Congratulations to Cameron Spruill.
I think if I threw 22 pitches, they'd all hit home runs off of me.
They would make contact?
Yes.
There's a point in time where I was throwing rocks. Just you go through the driveway, and we have a gravel driveway, but sometimes we have creek rocks show up, larger rocks. And I'll pick that up and I'll throw it over to the creek. And when I throw it over, it always seems to hit a tree.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, even in just throwing rocks, I can't strike anybody out. The trees hit me.
Do you like to skip rocks?
I've done that, yes.
How many skips can you get?
That depends. Are you talking in a creek or are you talking in a pond?
I usually do
or
a creek.
Lake?
I usually do a creek.
Creek. I think the longest, I've never counted them, but double figures.
Oh, yeah.
I'm guessing maybe 15 to 20. If you get the right rock and you get enough stretch of water in a creek to be able to make it skip.
I have a video to show you in our next ad break.
Aha. You have to check that out. All right. Coming up, this date in history. You going to share this with everybody or just me?
I can put it on the Facebook if the viewers want to see it.
That would be cool. Yeah. So that's coming up for your enjoyment. But just ahead, this date in history.
First, though, Litter Quality Propane. 92 years of serving propane users in southern and central Ohio. Reliable supply, reliable service, reliable people. Litter Quality Propane.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Dixie Chopper. Speed when you need it. Visit your local Dixie Chopper dealer today or visit DixieChopper.com.
Heating, cooling, and plumbing. Your trusted comfort advisor is Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. And if you need some of that work done, they can take care of you. They have 8 offices across southern Ohio. Their coverage area spans from over by Dayton all the way over to Athens, up into Columbus, and down to the Ohio River. A big area that Accurate has grown in nearly 5 decades. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it takes you right to their website, AccurateHVAC.com. I just saw the skipping video. Even goes around a little bend in the creek. That's really cool. So you don't really know how many skips it made.
No, I don't know how long it went.
It may still be skipping.
Yeah. But I mean,
probably not. But
that was at least 30, 40 skips.
That was an amazing skip. Very nice. Was it slate rock or was it just a smooth?
Smooth rock. Regular? And that's not even my best. I mean, during quarantine, what I would do is I would go back behind Brad Lyle Park in Frankfurt.
While in quarantine, I would go out.
During COVID.
I know what you mean.
I would go out and I would skip rocks for 3 hours a day. That was all I did. That was my quarantine hobby.
I see.
So I got pretty good at it.
So you could possibly become a professional rock skipper.
There's a tournament that they have on the 4th of July every year in Michigan.
Yeah.
But they skip rocks on Lake Michigan and there's waves, and I feel like that would mess me up.
So you're a calm water.
Yeah. If it's still
skipper.
water, I can skip a rock for miles.
Very cool. Well, let's hope you don't run into what we're going to talk about today on this date in history. As we go back to 1933, the modern legend of the Loch Ness Monster is born when a sighting makes local news. The newspaper Inverness Courier relates an account of a local couple who claimed to have seen an enormous animal rolling and plunging on the surface. That's a quote. The story of the monster, a moniker chosen by the Courier editor, becomes a media phenomenon, with London newspapers sending correspondents to Scotland and a circus offering £20,000 sterling reward for capturing this beast, which no one has ever collected on.
No.
But you could skip a rock on that.
Yeah. That I could go between whatever that hump is on his back and his neck sticking out. I could thread the needle.
What if you skipped it and it did like a David and Goliath thing, jumped up and knocked out the Loch Ness Monster, and then suddenly it's floating in the water and you could
rich.
You've captured, I wonder if that £20,000
dead or alive
reward is still available, if it still stands intact.
How many U.S. dollars is that?
In 1933, I'm sure it was a bunch.
Yeah.
Might be a bunch today, too. I don't know. I can't do the monetary conversion in my head.
Neither can I.
With the inflation rates. We need to talk to Rathcam Financial. Maybe they can figure that out for us.
Who would win in a fight between Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster?
Well, I can tell you we probably wouldn't see it.
Right.
It would be the fight that would never be seen. Closest thing we've got is King Kong and Godzilla, I guess.
Who won that fight? Godzilla's bigger.
It's up for debate from what we understand.
Okay.
So
I didn't see the movie. That came out a couple of years ago.
Oh, that one?
Yeah. There's a new one out right now where they team up.
Trying to remember if I saw that one. My wife, I think, streamed it, but I got wore out on Godzilla and King Kong many moons ago.
Yeah.
So, oh well. All right, that's it for the program today. If you want to, you're going to share that video on our Facebook page, right?
Sure.
Of Skipping Rocks?
Yes.
All right, so if you want to check that out, take a look at our Facebook page.
I'll put it in the comments of this. So there's context to it.
Okay, very good. Well, I must run. I've got to get downtown for the National Day of Prayer. So for Aaron Glandon and for Mike Smith, I'm Dan Ramey. Mike and Aaron will see you tomorrow with another edition of Litter Media Live.